Welcome to the Purposeful MD podcast. As a physician, you've sacrificed so much of your life for other people, your patients, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. What would it feel like to spend time doing what you enjoy and to live without guilt? I'm your host, Dr. Laura Sutton, a family physician, certified coach, and business owner. If you're a medical professional on a journey towards your most purposeful life, a life with more time and energy, and ultimately more joy, then this is the podcast for you. So tell us about your work in working with early career physicians. And your story clearly has shaped that. And I really appreciate you sharing that and using that as fuel for what your current work. So tell us about how you work with early career physicians.
Yes. So early career physician work. So I look at it in multiple dimensions and different facets. There is this recognition of not knowing your agency and not knowing your worth. As someone who's a new attending, someone who is just starting out, and then even someone who is in the first couple of years. For me, when I get asked this question, who do you mean is an early career physician to you? So I use the term for defining people who are in the first 7 years after training, because those are the years that you go from being absolutely new to then reconsidering where you're at, to questioning your purpose and fulfillment if you want to continue in this either environment, in this specialty, whatever that may look like for you. So during this entire journey, there are various themes that come up, and I hear confidence struggles as one of the main themes that's stopping you from actually advocating for yourself, advocating for your needs from administration, from peers, with patients. It could be anything. And work that I do will take form in terms of one-on-one coaching. It could be a workshop. It could be many different ways that we can create. Bottom line is, you should be empowered to have a stress-free life that you can sustain future in overall, and to feel supported in that time, because feeling alone, trying to do all the things and not knowing what your rights are huge. So and as part of the Early Career Physicians Institute, we host a variety of free webinars and Q&A series to allow the focus for those is to allow you to know your rights, to know facts. For example, the last 2 or 3, I had healthcare attorneys come talk about contracts, visas, all the things you should know. We had one about finance. We had one about real estate investments. That was just through the lens of somebody who is an early career physician, because the bottom line is this: if you're confident, you know your worth, you know what you bring to the table, and you know that you are going to be doing this job because you want to and not because you're tied to this financial rock that's like on top of your head and you're crushed under it, and you're just doing it because you feel pushed to. Imagine what your well-being is going to look like if you know you want to do this job and you know how awesome you are. What will follow afterwards? And you, when things fall out of line, are able to articulate your needs. And advocating for yourself is not a dirty word. Articulating your needs is not a dirty word, because at the end of the day, when you don't do all of these things, probably you're going to end up leaving medicine. And research has shown that residents, when they start their first job, typically 50% will end up leaving their first job. And in 2019, there was an article published in JAMA that talked about how 40% of women physicians after the first 6 years will either go part-time or will leave medicine altogether. And this was pre-pandemic. We know all the burnout reports that have come out. Things are not looking good. But I also always want to emphasize the positivity and the agency and the choice and control that we have. So when I am working with my clients, I'm trying to focus on all the things that you can do, because it's very easy to say, well, the system is broken, everyone's burnt out. I guess this is what my life as a doctor. And or trying to be like toxically positive, like, and what I say, inappropriately grateful because, oh, I am just so grateful, like this place, like they're just so nice. They smile at me, and they're trying to be kind to me, whereas not recognizing that with the smile there is an email and another task that you need to do, and you're probably not being paid your worth. You don't have time for yourself. So there are so many different facets that if we address right now in the first couple of years of your career, imagine what the rest of your life looks like. Imagine what all these other things happen. And then sometimes it's not really what's happening in medicine. It's not what's happening in the hospital at all, but what's happening outside. As an early career physician, a lot of my clients are establishing their families, they're buying their first home. It's all those other things that are happening in life. Some of them are wanting to take on hobbies that they have put away for so long. Some of them are trying to really recognize, wow, uh, I had a number done on me in terms of my mental and physical health. How can I be healthy? So there are so many components, and I kind of help all my clients through those. It's really what is there for you. But being an early career physician is a very unique time in your life, and it can be an amazing time in your life. So if you're not feeling that, you can create that. And that's where I would focus all of this.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm really wishing I had you when I was an early career physician, and the confidence that you mentioned and knowing that there are options and advocating for yourself. I see so many physicians that feel stuck or feel like they can't ask for what they're worth, or they don't even know what they're worth. And the gratitude, like you said, that, well, I should just be grateful. And the things that you mentioned, I'm grateful they smiled at me and they're nice to me. Well, that's a bare minimum. That's just human. You deserve that as a human. I hear that a lot from physician clients about just, yeah, I'm just grateful that they let me go home at 5 p.m. or whatever that is, kind of just really accepting. Sometimes we accept scraps, right? And we need to ask for the whole loaf of bread, really, because without us, there are no patients to be had. And just having somebody like you in their corner to help them realize, yes, this is what you're worth, and we'll give you resources related to legal, financial. We don't learn that stuff in medical school or residency. We don't learn how to manage our money. We don't learn how the unique needs of physicians translate into financial planning, and we don't learn how to run our business if we're private practice owners, and there's just so much of it. And so it's amazing what you're doing, and it sounds like it's so incredible for early career physicians. I love all of it.
Thank you. I so appreciate you sharing and allowing me to share on your platform about this, and the incredible work that you're doing is so great. And we always look at coaching either as something that only high profile individuals need. Either you have to be an athlete, you have to be like a superstar, you have to be in the C-suite, all those things. Well, all of the physicians are rock stars to begin with. You are incredible. How incredible is this that you go and you get to save lives every day? Even for the folks that are doing chronic care management and doing preventive medicine every day, you are incredible and you are such an asset. You definitely deserve support. If all the amazing athletes can have coaches, you definitely can. And it doesn't, it could be any or anything, but managing your mind and optimizing your life, it brings me back to the whole wellness illness continuum. It's really not just the absence of disease. So do we have to be in deplorable states before we even like lift up a finger and ask for help? No. I mean, a lot of times we're really playing into the arrival fallacy. And, this is something I see a lot. I felt that way, and I see a lot of it with my clients as well. Well, medical training is done, and, I'm an attending now. I thought that I would feel better. I thought life would be, I'm not being crushed under all the exams that I had to take, all the things. I was always on Jeopardy when I was a resident, all the things that you do as a resident. And then you become an attending and surprise, you actually might be feeling worse because the whatever flimsy work hour restrictions were there or support that was there or faculty you could reach out to might be gone, and it's you, and it's the me, myself, and I becomes like very real. And so at that time, you have to start thinking, well, this is my life, and how do I want to create it consciously? I should not wait to be broken and then require to get fixed. I should know my value. I should know my rights. I should create an amazing life for myself because I am worthy. And you were worthy before becoming a physician day one. But if anything, your worthiness has just is skyrocketed with all of that education.
Yes. Yes. Shout it from the rooftops. As a physician, you are a rock star, you are worthy, and you deserve a coach. I'm with you. I think every physician needs a coach. And a coach, again, if LeBron James has a coach and he's one of the best athletes that has ever lived, if he needs a coach, then clearly that's just a testament to the power of coaching. And how amazing is it that we are in this area where coaching, I really feel like the stigma of coaching is being reduced, and just knowing so many coaches and so many amazing people like you to support our physicians. I feel like, yeah, if you are not working with a coach, there are a ton of resources out there, and just reach out because you're not alone and we have somebody in your corner for sure. So you mentioned about creative pursuits. I want to ask you about that because we were talking about this before we started recording, and you mentioned you're exploring some of those creative pursuits for yourself. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I was writing a book when I was in fifth grade, and it was a very interesting endeavor. And I used to love writing fiction, nonfiction, actually some poetry. My mom and dad have all those books saved and journals saved. But I stopped doing all of that, and I used to debate, and speaking was a passion. I also used to act and write plays. So all of that, I don't know what happened when I started very much identifying as a physician. I didn't have time, I guess, and I slowly just phased out everything else. And part of my healing journey has been recognizing myself as a full human, as a complete human, not just Dr. Amna Shabbir, not just mom, not just wife, not just daughter. All of those pieces are beautiful, but there's a part of me that requires nurturing. So 2023 was the year I started writing again, and I um, published and shared some of my journeys, including my journey in postpartum depression. And right now, the most I would say therapeutic has been writing for me. I've picked back a little bit of poetry again, um, and all those things, and really connection, and recognizing that we need that time in which we're not producing and we're just being. And what that might look like for you would be different. I also used to love making candles. So I'm thinking of, the vaxes arrived, and I'm picking back. I used to make glacier candles. So taking back all of those things that made me who I am and gave me joy. And the amazing thing is that the more creative work I do, the the better I feel when I'm actually seeing my patients. And I had this moment when last week, I felt the way I did back in medical school. A patient shared their story with me, and I was so inspired by their resilience and how incredible they are. And that was one of the core things that led me into medicine was how much people's stories inspired me. And there was this person going through such severe adversity from an early age, and they had such gratitude, and they shared that with me. And I felt it in my soul, I would say. I felt it so deeply and profoundly. I had to, luckily that day I was going from one nursing home to the other nursing home. I sat in my car and I actually journaled and I wrote about how I felt. And it was just, it was an incredible moment. And to be able to feel uh, inspired, to feel grateful, um, to feel moved, and to feel fulfilled. Those are all the things that were missing a couple of years ago. And I was able to tap back into that by using creative pursuits and all these other things. So it's really neat.
Oh, that sounds lovely and so amazing. And just, yes, I love that you're doing that. And we talked a little bit before we started recording too about how the most important thing that we can do is to take that time for ourselves. And if we're not healing ourselves, if we're not committing to that for ourselves, then we can't be any of those other things to anybody else, the wife, the daughter, the mom, the physician. We can't do any of that unless we're tending to our own needs. And I think we tend to tell ourselves, yeah, I can be all these things for other people and I'll sleep when I'm dead or whatever that looks like. I'll do this another time, but we have to take care of ourselves first, for sure.
Absolutely. And the word self-care is thrown around quite a bit. And I feel that some of my colleagues now feel pressured by that too. Like, great, I have all this like clinical work I have to do. I have the work I have to do at home. And now I'm supposed to be having self-care. I'm supposed to be like going for a pedicure or a manicure or massage, whatever that is. No, it could be anything. Self-care is what you want it to be. Don't feel that you're adding more things. It's about filling your cup. And what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Like, it could be doing nothing. Sometimes I don't want to do anything, and sometimes I want to write and journal. So that pressure that we have to constantly produce, be careful if that's also now showing up in the way you're doing, you're scheduling your self-care. Like, great, I also have to do this.
Yes, so important, so important. Shouldn't be something else on our to-do list. Self-care can be taking 2 minutes to take a deep breath in between patients. It can be sleeping 7 hours a night uninterrupted. And just like you said, it's really about doing what we need and honoring our own needs. And it needs to be, again, remove that should or that pressure from ourselves. So, so important.
I just want to add here, self-care can also be you not taking on that next project that's being thrown at you. Self-care can actually be you saying no and not making it mean anything else. That's it. That's self-care. When you said no to something you didn't want to do that no longer aligns with anything and it really is not going to affect patient outcomes or whatever, and learning to say no maybe would be the most powerful form of self-care.
Yes. Saying no to that unpaid project, extra work somebody's asking of you. Absolutely. Yes. Dr. Shabbir, it's been so wonderful to talk to you. I know you want to talk about your ebook, which looks amazing. So tell us about that.
It is a creation in which I talk a lot. I shouldn't say a little bit because I go in detail about with boundary setting and two other things that early career physicians, when they're starting out, they should know. I wish I had known these three things that when I had started out as an early career physician, and saying that no is part of it. I talk more in detail about self-worth and self-compassion. I give examples about boundary setting. And these are all examples with things that I have tried. And by the end, my patients still loved me and did not show up late to their appointments. And I mean, I had metrics to show that they did love me. So I really would encourage anyone to just take a peek. It's ideally for early career physicians, but anyone is welcome to check it out. And it's available at earlycareerphysician.com/ebook.
Yes, and we'll provide the link to that in the show notes. And we'll include your Instagram and your LinkedIn profiles as well, because I know you're very active and I follow you on both of those. And if you're listening and you're not following Dr. Shabbir, you need to because you drop these wisdom bombs and just your spirit is just full of compassion and your heart is just is you have a beautiful spirit, and it's just so evident. Your heart is so evident in everything that you do. And so I'm just so appreciative and really just honor what you're doing. And thank you. Thank you for being on the podcast, and thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you for your kind words, and it's been an absolute delight. I so appreciate you for starting this podcast. And uh, when I had nobody, I had my podcasts, and they gave me the energy to go ahead and take that first step. And so I hope that this inspires anyone to take that first step. And I really appreciate all your work.
Thank you, Dr. Shabbir. Thank you for listening to the Purposeful MD podcast. If you like what you hear, please rate and review the show. Please also visit my website, www.thepurposefulmd.com, for free downloads or to discuss working with me as your coach.